Welcome back, guys. It's day 3 of the GSL versus the world. I'm Tasis. Joined with me is In Control, Artosis, and Rotterdam. Before we do anything else, we got to remind you guys that the finals tomorrow is not going to be here in the studio.
No.
It is going to be at Gyeonggi University. We've never had an event at this location, but I'm super excited. It should be packed, so get down there early. If you don't, you might not get seating.
You know what it is, Nick? Knowledge is half the power. Well, on Sunday, we find out what the other half the power is. It's the finals.
That's it, exactly.
That's what they were talking about all the time.
Oh my God! Is half the power. Isn't that from G.I. Joe? It's
Yes, it is,
knowing
of
is half
course.
the battle.
Yeah.
But Apollo made that quote so much better once upon a time, where he said, like, knowing is half the information, which I personally think is a much better version of the quote.
He was just so good with words. I wonder why he went into
wordsmith.
production.
So, obviously, we are now past the round of 16. We've got a great round of 8 here, and we're not just going to do the round of 8. We are doing the round of 4 as well. So we got tons of StarCraft 2 for you guys today. Stay with us throughout the entire evening.
33% more, Nick. I did the math in my head right now.
0.3 repeating.
Yes.
Actually, it's 50% more.
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah, actually he's right. It is 50% more.
You know what? With your big
0.3
fancy
repeating.
brain, okay? Look at me. I crunch the numbers for real, he says. All right.
Okay, so today we have Stats versus SpeCIaL, Innovation versus Beyond, Leave versus TY, and Dark versus Sue, at least for the round of 8.
It's going to be awesome. It's such a fantastic day. I'm really pumped for it. I love that we have 6 best of 5s as well. And I'm excited to see how our foreigners are going to do. I mean, SpeCIaL has one hell of a mountain to climb going up against Stats that we all consider to be at least the best defensive Protoss in the world. We're not saying the best overall. But if you want to say that, I don't think anybody would get really mad. And then you got Innovation versus Beyond.
I'm excited for the Need match as well, obviously. TY, one of the most lauded after Korean Terrans. And the Korean Terrans are a special breed. They're a lot better than everything else. So, amazing matches. I hope we have what we ended both days with, which is best of 5 going down to the wire, really close games. That's what I want.
I'm looking forward to this. I am hoping we can get our non-Koreans a little bit further, but it's going to be really tough.
Just a little, though.
Just a little
Not
bit.
too far.
One more
Just
round.
enough to get the fans' hopes up before we can
Don't,
crush it.
I mean, yesterday Neve was fantastic, but this is obviously just the beginning of the tournament. But if he somehow makes it through the quarterfinals, then I feel like we're starting to really create a real story.
Yeah.
It's like he did it last year, guys. Can he do it again? It would be sick.
And even if we don't have a non-Korean in the finals, we do have a big show match on the day of the finals to start things off before we actually do the GSL versus the World Finals. We have all the non-Koreans versus the Koreans.
Yeah.
All 8 games are going to be played. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll see some redemption there if we don't have our own redemption here in the finals.
With
for the
that
GSL versus the
captain,
World.
I can't really imagine.
That's
it
right,
going wrong.
Captain Stefano and Captain Nesty. Excellent captain choices here.
They're calling it the Snow White match.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because the evil mirror on the wall.
Yeah?
Haven't seen the movie.
Because the
Even the coaches are both
players
served.
ate a poisoned apple.
No, hopefully
No,
not.
I don't
Kevin,
know.
come on.
Because there's 7 short players on one of the teams.
These
Oh, no, wait,
references
that's
are
Cinderella.
on point.
Wait, is it Cinderella or Snow White who eats the
Cinderella
poisoned
had
apple?
small people as well.
Cinderella had to put the slipper on, right?
She did. And
But-
boy, did she.
Yeah, no, she was no.
And Snow White ate the poison apple,
Yeah,
right?
Snow White was
Okay,
the
I
one
was
with the
good. I
dwarves.
know
But
my
it's
stuff.
Princess Belle that rode in the pumpkin and did battle with the beast.
That's right. That's right.
and has ice magic.
She had
And
a
it was
snowman.
Princess Leia that controlled
She had a
the
sidekick that
Battlestar
was a snowman that was
Galactica,
her
right?
best friend.
Can we talk about The Lion King? I've actually seen that movie.
The Lion King
Yes.
also, yes.
Yes.
Who's Simba?
He's the one that went across the ocean to restore Tafiki's heart.
Yes, I remember that now.
So that's Stefano.
Exactly.
I believe we are going to take a quick look at our players before they come out and see what their thoughts are.
I'm gonna
before
take
we
a
go
long
into this
look, to be
match.
honest
Yeah,
with you.
let's do it.
I think we owe it to the fans.
I guess we'll have to write a rain check to the fans, won't we, Jeff? That was not as long as you were really thinking they deserved.
I'm getting a tall drink of look right now, though, Dan. Look at these two. SpeCIaL's been giving us some good stuff. He's been competing the WCS doing really well. He's been training here in Korea. He's going to go up against this mountain of a monster Stats who I mean, if we're not calling him the best Protoss, he's certainly in the discussion for top 2 or 3, right?
Always. I don't think anybody would disagree with you on that one. This is a super cool match as well, because once again, I feel with kind of an all-star tournament that this is, you hope for matches that you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
Well, Stats versus TY has never, Stats versus Major, or SpeCIaL in this case, has never happened in like a tournament condition. I'm sure they've practiced with each other, I'm sure they've ran into each other on the ladder, but this is the very first time they play against each other on the stage, and that just gets me a little bit extra excited. And look at all these legends being born in May. All of them.
What happened in May, dude?
Wow.
I don't know. Something in the water.
Yes, it's just a month where
I don't know,
What
Mike.
we need to do is find out what happened 9 months before, and that's the real story right there.
Or maybe
Right.
they're all
Something.
premature babies. You know?
Yeah,
So
oh,
he
yeah,
was able
maybe.
to-
That's true. It could have happened that way.
It could be the case.
But Stats did. He came out fully developed. This guy,
all of us turned out
good
great.
defense.
Came out just like that, out of the bat.
just like that.
And this guy right here, 1993, June, so not a May baby.
Oh yes, he's
Oh,
born
no,
in
you're
May.
right. That was debuts, June. No, you're right.
Yeah, another May baby. Wow.
April showers
What does it
bring
mean?
May flowers.
This was in Mexico, though. What happened there?
April showers bring May esports powers, perhaps.
SpeCIaL is an aggressive player, very good multitasking. He's going to need it. It's going to be kind of interesting because Kevin was talking about this kind of before we went live. I'm going to steal the videos now, obviously.
That's
Stats,
a good technique.
Stats, thank you, Nick. Been doing it for a long time. Stats is a very good defensive player, but SpeCIaL makes his money off of his aggression. He needs to crack your defenses. So it's kind of a weird immovable object versus forever moving object. You know what I'm saying? That's how the saying goes. Sort of.
You know what, I think that if SpeCIaL can somehow get things going for himself in this best of 5, it's going to have to be similar to how he did it against Neeb in Valencia, where you often see like maybe the second factory is being proxy.
Yeah.
And you know, Stats will have enough units to deal with a couple of Marines and a couple of Cyclones, but what if there's 2 more Cyclones? Maybe that way SpeCIaL can catch Stats off guard, but Stats is Stats, and it's going to be one hell of a tough series, I think, for SpeCIaL.
Stats is Stats.
Okay, thanks guys. Go
Have
away.
fun.
Go
Get
sit
outta
over there.
here.
Go sit over there and watch us cast.
Yeah.
Watch any R-rated movies while we're gone.
This is like a
It's
real
really good
thing from
advice.
childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, in the bottom right, a GSL champion, a great defensive Protoss, a smiley guy, a Splice member.
They're done.
Splice
They're like,
stats.
no.
Really, just keep going, man.
I was kind of wondering. You guys were driving for a second there, but very confident. Was able to take out Hero 3-0 in the first match. But his opponent, the top left-hand side, training in Korea for a long time, looking for that big championship that his talent demands. It is
Special.
SpeCIaL.
No cap on the L. Most of the caps have been on point here at GSL vs. World. We finally see a hole in the producer's
They
game.
are mortal. They're just stunned. They didn't expect him to make it this far, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do want to mention something that, like, what Stats loses to in this matchup specifically, because he is such a good defensive Protoss. Like, you put him against someone like Bjorn, and I'll put huge money on Stats every time, because Bjorn will just be aggressive, dropping everywhere. Stats splits his units perfectly. And, like, defends multiple harassments, like, basically better than ever the Protoss. This is, like, where he makes his money. This is what he brings to the bank.
Okay.
This is what he signs in the back of his checks.
This is his
This is his
cow.
retirement fund.
This is what he- okay,
This
gotcha.
is how he diversifies.
This is his portfolio, if you will.
This is
The whole thing.
This is his insurance,
Okay.
and these are the lottery tickets that his mom gets for him on his birthday that she forgot at
very
the
sweet
gas
of her.
station on the way home.
It's very sweet of her.
So that is where he's really strong.
Okay.
But if you kind of sit back a little bit more and do something like a little bit more greedy, like, I don't know, get a bunch of Liberators and then move out, he sometimes loses to very random Terrans that are like maybe not even top 10 Terrans in the world who do stuff like that, where it's like, oh, I just have like this army that's really hard to crack. Can you crack it? Oh, you can't crack it. Okay, I win. You know, like occasionally he will fall like that. But if SpeCIaL is getting too aggressive, like his style oftentimes is, I feel like that's where it gets really hard for him.
Yeah, and I think that is the kind of almost a pre-matchup difficulty that we're facing here. Is I don't know that SpeCIaL breaks from that mold. I think he looks at someone like Stats and says, man, you're going to be really tough to get aggressive against, but boy, am I going to try. So that's not me saying he loses immediately. Artem. That guy works at Blizzard. I don't know who that is.
Welcome, nerds.
They're listening to us right now, I think.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just listening to a song. Who knows?
Waste of your space, I suppose. We do have a 1-gate expand coming out from Stats, kind of the cut and dry, very normal opening. Denied the scout from the SCV, but the SCV is not hoping to get too much there. It would be kind of a steal if it does get in.
Indeed it would. Everything very normal from both sides. Oracle on the way. Widowmine drop will be incoming. And we'll just have to see if he, loses the Oracle. I don't expect
That is a
him to get
fast
kills.
third Nexus, by the way.
Quite
That
a
is
fast
a
one, yes,
very, very fast third Nexus.
Yep. And, I would say that he's going to be fine with it. Just, this is kind of a risky thing, right? Because if you make it that quick off the back of an Oracle, and your opponent was just like, you know what? This game, instead of a Widowmine, I'll make a Cyclone. And then they walk across the map, your Nexus is gone.
Or they do what, I guess, you'll have to tell me if it's popular in Korea, but there was a while there where it was a bunch of 1.5 base or even 1 base Terran pushes.
Mm-hmm.
This does get scouted, by the way, really quickly, so that might actually be enough time for Special to react. But yeah, what this does is I feel like it's saying you are going to be opening up with some kind of drop, some kind of very light harass, because 8 or 9 times out of 10, maybe not that high, 7 or 8 times out of 10, that's the Terran opening right now, especially at the beginning of a best of 5.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I don't think that there's really time for Special to react to this right now.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors. If he was doing a timing, Stats is super dead, but he's not.
Yeah, yeah. And, it's kind of greedy in that regard, but look,
oh my God.
even after that scout, because he sees the extra 2 barracks, so it's like, okay, as long as, I'm stopping the drop, I'm completely fine against everything.
I didn't
And
see
he's
the other 2
definitely right.
gates. This makes a little bit more sense. I mean, it makes a lot more sense, I guess. This is something people do too. What's your best argument for this? There's a lot of people who, when they take either even the natural or the third, they prolong any pylons there for quite a while. It makes me so nervous. I feel like Photon Overcharge is such a big part of any defense.
Well, specifically here, he's skipped the Mothership Core because he's just being the greediest of greeters.
I think it's out there.
Is it?
Yeah, so. Thought I saw it.
I
But maybe I'm
didn't see
wrong.
it,
So is that what you're saying, that if they skip it, I guess there's no reason at all for that pylon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess you got to decide where you're putting your Mothership Core as well. But look, he's going for a type of play that is going to be very good, actually, against what Special's doing. He's making Siege Tanks, so he might be planning to just do a push into the natural with that. But when you're going Charge Phoenix, like, if your opponent's making Siege Tanks and you decide to get Charge as your first upgrade, kudos to you. You're in a good spot.
Yeah. The timing of this is going to be a little bit close. It depends on how long Special wants to wait. He's got 2 medevacs popping out, as well as I believe that's a second or maybe third tank. I feel like if he goes right now, there's this like kind of crazy low ground timing that he could perhaps pull off. But I like what Stats is doing here. A couple of those stasis wards can buy some time. Charge is a very fast upgrade, so even as I say that, I think what I was analyzing is incorrect. And it is going to be some Liberators coming out, so... Well, he is moving out right now, and the Liberators will come up and join with this. If he can siege on that low ground and get some meaningful... That was really nice, by the way. He tried to save it, but getting off that stasis ward is a good first step.
Indeed it is. Now look at this. Doing a bunny push right here. Loading everything up in the medevacs. You can't see him. You can't pick him off, so it makes it a little bit harder for the Protoss player. He hasn't taken down his rocks either, so he's going to have to be careful with how he approaches this. A very good setup here by Special, who immediately is throwing down some buildings.
Yeah, and he's already hitting the mineral line, so I think that is the major thing here. Can he kill the Nexus? Yes, eventually, but for right now, he's making it hard for that base to really function as a base. If you're not mining from there, it's just the gas, so it's okay if he adds like a Templar Archives or something for Archons, but for right now, just the Zealot, it's not a big deal. Oh, he might go down here.
Yeah, he's just going to charge right down. He has that Guardian shield up. +1 is done as well. And lifts up both the Siege Tanks. The Zealot's trying to cut through all of these Marines.
Something a little weird happened there. He actually picked up the Widow Mines, I think, to reposition for a second. Good kiting there from, especially does get back there. But losing the teeth with the bunker not finishing, the missile turret not going down, had he been able to dug in there, even just something as simple as a missile turret, it just puts out so much damage over time that doing things like picking up the tanks means it's going to cost you 2 or 3 of your Phoenix, and then all of a sudden you have 1 or 2, which is a very awkward number. But getting in at exactly the right time, Stats is able to push that away, and you gotta love his position now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if Stats gets that first, like, battle victory with a strategy like this, he's going to swarm you. It's going to be so hard to get anything done. Special does have this Liberator over here, though.
Back here.
Yeah, the
Warp and
Phoenix is
Stalkers.
across.
He sees it coming, obviously. And I think, okay, well, yeah. So there's not enough space behind that area that with the Stalkers getting in before it sieges up, they're absolutely going to do that damage. It's going to move over to the third base, which could be nice here as well. But no, there's the Phoenix, bottom time. And there's that defense you're talking about. Stats is just all over it.
And Stats taking a fourth base, going into Storm and Blink. Kind of cool to see that as the follow-up as opposed to Colossus. Kind of does fit with what he has so far in this game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Stats is in such a magnificent position that I think at this point, as SpeCIaL, what you're probably looking to do is make tech units and turtle. Like, you can't move out again against Stats.
And this map affords you that ability. There's a 5-base corner that you can turtle to. And if you get a lot of Liberators, kind of like what you guys were talking about, I know that Rotterdam's analysis was on point as well, where he was saying that if you just try to be aggressive against Stats, it's going to be really, really rough. But if you can fall back and kind of change it up, that could do something for you. And to your point, Liberators might be that linchpin unit. Yes, we could see something like Tempest coming out, but even at that time, a 4 or 5-base Terran should feel confident that they can have the resources necessary to get the tools out.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at this by Stats. This is actually really fresh and new. Right after Storm, before Storm's even done, he's getting his Colossus tech going. So he is diversifying his splash.
That's what Rotterdam was talking about. Excuse me. The transitions are really strong. You can open up charge lot like that, and a lot of Protoss will become enamored with it. They're like, well, charge lots are good. I'll get out 1,000,000 of them. But over time, if you don't have that splash, it kind of falls off. But getting Storm and Colossus at virtually the same time is scary.
And he has a Prism out. I don't know if he maybe has one with High Templars to flank this with. He might need that, though.
Yeah, they're in there.
Okay, yeah. That's a really, really good move. Can he save this fourth base? That's a great setup of those Liberators.
Oh, the Templar. Here they come. Getting on top of Liberators. Here is the Storm going mostly on top of Liberators. I got to say, actually, that's not the stops they were looking for. And it's going to be SpeCIaL pushing forward here with that stim, getting even a couple of the warped in units, finishes off the pile. This fourth base might actually go down. In fact, I think it will. It's being abandoned. Now, the Liberators, a lot of them are low health, if not just flat out dead. So you got to look out for that overextension for SpeCIaL.
This is pretty rough. The Psystorms really didn't do very much. The 4 Liberators being sieged up there crush absolutely everything that Stats has. And this is looking to me like a SpeCIaL victory.
It might be. There's not a lot of Storm here, if any. I didn't see if the Templar died, but I'm just not seeing any on the screen right now. And he's actually there's just too much force here. Liberators aren't even touched. Stats might have overextended just slightly, and that's it. GG's called, and first blood goes to SpeCIaL. And Artosis, I got to go back to what you said. The Storms really didn't feel like they did what they needed to. Like, if you're going to Storm Liberators, they have to die. They cannot exist, but he was overly concerned. Well, not even overly. That's kind of an aggressive term. I think he was rightfully concerned about the Widow Mines beneath the Liberators, but there's just too many phases going on there for him to engage, and that meant that the Bioforce survived and was able to then, of course, win the day.
I have to be just a little bit critical of Stats here as
well.
well.
Go full critical, man.
Okay.
Do it.
So here's my thought, right? If you have this very mobile style that includes Charged Zealots, you have High Templars in a shuttle or a Prism, and you have Stalkers, right? That's his army, with some Phoenixes, of course. You have to knock down all the rocks. You have, because if anyone gets set up, Zealots do not attack in entrenched positions well. But just meeting an army, they do fantastically. So when SpeCIaL is allowed to knock down the rocks at his leisure and have his Liberators all set up, there's never a point where you can actually engage that correctly. So if Charged Zealots are your main piece of army, I say that you kill the rocks going for your natural and the rocks in front of your fourth. And if you're not doing that, you're not controlling where you engage the Terran army, and you must do that with this composition.
Yeah, I think the simplification of what you just said, because I agree with everything, is just literally, if you're facing Liberators and you're defending at your Nexus, it's almost always a bad idea. I think the other place where we can, and you know, we are casters, we see everything, and of course the result is already recorded, but going Colossus might have been too much of that time too. Just like another 6 or 7 gateways and a flood of units might have been the call. But hey, that's it. That was game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we did have SpeCIaL draw first blood in this matchup where he's expected to lose. Well, let's see. In the top left-hand side, wearing the blue Protoss, needing your support, it is
SpeCIaL.
And we're going to see more from it. He did not, like, I agree with everything you said, Artosis. Maybe it was the defense at the Nexus. Maybe it was the tech choice, but he looked good before that.
Yeah, he did a great job early on. Down in the bottom right, wearing the blood of his opponent.
Oh, wow.
He is.
SpeCIaL.
Yeah. Well, SpeCIaL looking fantastic.
Yes.
I'm not surprised to see that. This guy is a consummate pro. He's been around forever. We used to play with him in StarCraft 1. He was a great player back then, and really has finally found his stride here in StarCraft 2, having a great year.
He's put in the work.
Yeah.
He's been in Korea a few times. I know that he spent a lot of last year in Korea, I believe it was. This year, we're starting to see some of those results, but still, I have to say, he is a tournament-winning caliber Terran. We haven't seen that yet. I don't look to him and say, you're a choker, or there's no like critical flaw. It's just that there is some RNG, there is some luck in StarCraft, and sometimes you hit that brick wall. 2 WCSs he very well could have won. He ran into Neeb, who was the eventual champion and just in that form at that time.
And then he beat Neeb, and according to him, played the very worst series of his life immediately thereafter against Snoop.
You know, to be fair, you know, it's not our place to judge that level, but I would say it was beneath him for sure.
Yeah, no,
Snoop kind of walked all over him.
I think that there is an argument to be made that he is the strongest foreigner. I think that you can also make an argument against that, of course, but like even if they go down to the ace match and need a victory there on Odyssey, I actually think you might put out SpeCIaL just because his TBT is a good enough level that you know a Korean Terran's coming out.
Yeah.
That's going to happen, right? And he might be the best shot. So anyways, I mean, he shows it in that first game that even though his first push got completely massacred, he's able to come back immediately with that 4 Liberator push. Very well done. I didn't feel like he should have been moving out quite yet, but I think you're also right in saying that because he was going both Storm, stats was going both Storm, right? First off, he's getting Blink. He already has Phoenixes, so this is like not good ground fighting units. He goes into Storm and Colossus at the same time while taking a fourth. Like, he's just a little bit low. And whether SpeCIaL realized that or just, you know, for whatever reason he moved out, it worked.
It was only the 4 Templar as well, so it was kind of that like 1 wad of a Warp Prism where it's like, gosh, if that lands, if any one of those storms hits the bio, because it's very marine heavy, that might have been a huge tipping point, but it got kind of whiffed, and I liked it because I agree with you. I was glad to hear this because sometimes, you know, I'm just a passionate StarCraft person first and foremost, and like a commentator and analyst, distant second and third, so I got really excited, but I was doubting SpeCIaL when he was pushing out. I was like, nah, the 4 Templar just really pushed this back. Too much groundwork, but he got in the right position like you analyzed very well, and then from there controlled it very well. And I think when you do something like that too, it puts the ball in stats court where he had to execute perfectly, and I think we all agree he did not. So that's where the game-ending mistake kind of happens.
Well, will something like that occur again here? They have kind of similar openings to what we saw before. That third Nexus, super, super fast, just after an Oracle, just like in the previous game. It's a bigger map. In a lot of ways, it's better for Protoss than Abyssal. Abyssal can be a little bit tough with all the different ledges and everything. Terran can get good setups. Whereas this map is just so long. Terran moves out to attack you. By the time he gets there, you have Colossus, you know?
And it's going up ramps to be aggressive, so that can be really hard because it's usually Terran that is the aggressor in that situation. I think where you're right, but maybe this is something SpeCIaL can exploit, is you can do a lot of like elongated harass. So a Warp Prism in the main, warping in a bunch of stuff, and then the rest of your army at the third. There's very large separation, but also for Terran. You can have a Bioforce at the third, and then you can have a couple Medevacs hitting up in the main. But as you said earlier too, Stats is kind of known for his perfect army splits. If he does stuff like that and sees it coming, which this map has towers in the middle of the map, and there's an Air Force, you can kind of you can defend here.
Well, let's see how he defends against this. He knows that there is a drop on the way, and seeing that many Marines, I think he realizes it's probably just Widow Mines. You know, with a couple Phoenixes, 2-3 Phoenixes, plus 2 Oracles out, and a few Gateway units, can't imagine this doing too much damage.
You wouldn't think so. But he is going to get that mineral line, and I think the nice thing here is it's going to have to delay at least until an Oracle comes over, which, there you go. It was a whole, like, 5 seconds. And that's not nice. That's not what he's hoping for. He gets some information, though, sees a couple of Phoenix, sees the Oracle, says, okay. I'm pretty sure, you know, SpeCIaL knew that was what's going on, but now he's confirmed it, I guess.
And just throwing down a Widow Mine maybe somewhere in the middle here for SpeCIaL, but nothing too crazy happening. That third command center is on the way. More Phoenix is being produced. We'll see momentarily here what upgrades. Oh, okay, the Twilight and Forge just going down now, a little bit later than in the previous game, but he did go very Phoenix heavy here with 2 Oracles.
Yeah, he had Phoenix this time. Well, he had Phoenix last time, I guess, but the 2 Oracle, yeah. We'll have to see. But there's that Widow Mine you were talking about, fishing for something. Grab an Adept, not bad.
Yeah, nice little
And then
kill.
he moves it. I like that little detail. It's something.
Yes.
It's not a big deal. It is just a Widow Mine, but it's enough. It's nice. We've seen Widow Mines catch an Oracle. It can soften up a Warp Prism. It's a pretty big deal. It gives you information. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a little tip to Terran players out there. Move it every time it gets a hit because this happens. The Protoss comes in and tries to hunt down Widow Mines that just blew something up. So,
God, I thought he was gonna know exactly where it is. You can see it, but that's still like a pretty amazing thing when they spot it based off of that. I love that.
So charge on the way as well as armor.
5 gateways.
Lots of
This
gates
time
here.
he's not like, well, he didn't go Storm right now. He went like 5 gateways, charge lot, and then into Storm. So it might actually be, kind of like you said, exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. Like, the people going Storm is kind of a new development here in Korea after this charge. A lot of people like Colossus as the first source of splash. But, you know, I think it would be fine, especially on this map where he's not going to be able to set up so easily with Liberators. If they're coming across the map, you have a lot of places you can engage.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to be a little bit critical here. I don't like... Okay. So he's moving on with a third medevac there with the double Widow Mine. I hope that that goes first or maybe second even, but I really don't like when just an isolated drop like this is going on in the southern part of the map where it's like, hey, you have Phoenix. I know you have ground units. If you just do this drop, it should get slammed. And I don't like this. But if you do it in conjunction with something else, it can win a lot of positions. So he's going to back away. I think that's the right call. If he would have pushed there, man, it's like game over. You lose 2 medevacs full of units and you trade out for some zealots. It's nothing.
Completely agree. It's you know, Phoenix plus Adept was really kind of the build that we saw in this type of situation before, where it's like, okay, if your opponent is making Phoenixes, when units are in small numbers, Phoenixes kind of dominate everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have gateway units with it. It's like, well, stay home until the Phoenixes suck. That is just generally a very good rule. So this does scare me that he's out here, but he's not overextending.
No, this is a bait. Here comes the gateway units.
Yeah, and he's got a Widow Mine back here.
He's going to join up with the rest of his force here, and this is a little bit better for specials. Who Hunter becomes the hunted. But just makes me nervous. But at this level of StarCraft 2, that's where these guys operate. You take these small risks, hoping for big gains, and they play on that knife's edge, man. I love it.
And I got to say, SpeCIaL is actually in a much better position than he was in the previous game. Let's not forget, this game looks very similar, but there was no tank push that got wrecked.
Right.
Okay, so he's had more time to make more Widow Mines. He started his Liberators already. He's starting Ghosts against someone who has Phoenixes and also is going Storm. And that's like, if Storm is your splash and your opponent has Ghosts, you had better get your Colossus out before they get to your Nexus. Like, it is hard, man.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, the attack power of Protoss is really tough. Those Templar in movement is extremely difficult to pull off. We saw the Warp Prism technique, but we also saw how that can not necessarily go very well for you. I love Templar. I still do. Ghosts are very powerful, but if you can bring in some Templar from odd angles and you're defending, it only really takes 1 or 2 storms on a Bioforce, especially if they're Marine heavy, to completely switch it over to your side. Whereas with Colossus, very rarely is it like, you know, wow, that one volley from the Colossus really turned it. It's more often like, do you have the tools necessary to handle this?
Okay. I see what you're saying.
That's my count. I mean, that's the argument for it.
Well, here we go. An attack coming up right now. A lot of charge lots there. Do push it back. And look how he's engaging before he gets up on the Nexus. I love that play from Stats. A little bit of counter harassment as well.
Yeah. Just split his attention over here. And so far we have a slight supply lead here for SpeCIaL. He's going to be able to thwart that immediately. We're going to have to see if he's going to shore that up, because wherever those zealots came from, you're sure to know that when they see an empty orbital like that, there's going to be more to come. A lot of tags going down, spotting those Widow Mines, and there's the Ghost kind of peeling forward. Not seeing the Templar, I don't think. That EMP was a bit of a waste. Who cares? You got a couple of Stalkers and some Zealots. And it's SpeCIaL wants him to come down and fight on this ramp because, oh, well, here we go. He's going to get, there's the Storm Zone, the flank, and they hit the Bioforce. And that's the difference. And all of a sudden, that Marine soft underbelly loses out the Liberators. Still, SpeCIaL is able to kind of win the day slightly, but not like last game. Actually, look at all the reinforcements.
Dude,
Never mind.
He's just rolling through
He's doing
now.
great.
This gateway-based army having a very tough time right now.
Man, I was ready to talk about how Stats just completely won this fight, did a great job.
Yeah.
Those Storms, I don't know if you can get much better than that. He still has 2 Liberators.
When your opponent has 3-4 Ghosts out there, like, those Storms were money Storms. It just, he did not have a good enough army there to actually peel through.
He did try to go down a ramp, which is rough. It is a big ramp, albeit, but here we go. He's going to come back in here. Charge Lots jumping in forward, but again, that Liberation Zone doing so much damage. The Phoenix picking up a few things, but Stats sitting underneath this, is going to lose the fight and lose his army again. Is SpeCIaL doing this? Now there's some Archons over there, but without the support, they kind of just get spreaded out here. And it looks like this might end up a slight trade, but look at the supply, as Todd would say. It's a big advantage for SpeCIaL.
Yeah, SpeCIaL looking just fantastic. The Oracle's actually coming in and trying to clean up here at the end. GG is called.
Wow.
SpeCIaL going up 2-0 right now
Cracking
against
the knuckles.
Stats.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's comfortable with it. He's adjusting to it. Now here is got to be the, I don't know, SpeCIAL's a different player, but there's a little bit of horror with how he ended last night. I saw a very dominant showtime make Sue look a little noobish, and then Sue was like, wait a second, that's not what happens here.
It's true.
I'm supposed to lose in the finals. We hit a different gear. And then, tragedy ensued for the world team fans, or just non-Koreans. But does SpeCIaL make that mistake, or does he lock it up?
I think he's going to lock it up, to be honest. Okay, like, especially after these first 2 games. Okay, game 1, Stats wrecks the first push, still loses. Game 2, I feel that's a good map for PBT.
Yeah.
Gets wrecked even when he hits fantastic storms. I'm looking at this as a SpeCIAL match. Can Stats take a map? That's my question.
He's got to be a little bit rocked, too, because this seems to be kind of his cookie cutter. This is like, well, this is what I do in PBT. And like you said, in both games, it's not like we looked at one like, oh my god, that one Widowmine that hit 30 probes. Nothing like that. It's just flat out been SpeCIAL executing.
Yeah.
I mean, in that last game, I'll bite the bullet. You guys in chat, you can laugh at me all you want. I was like, yeah, Stats is rolling this. This looks good. He lands all the storms he wants. He's got Stalkers on top of the Liberators. There's even Phoenix contributing. And it just wasn't enough. SpeCIAL was splitting back. He was taking advantage of the ramp. He had the Marauders in the front taking most of the damage. Just beautiful play.
Right. With that being said, down 0-2. Will he be able to make a comeback? It is.
Splice stats.
Got to find something. And his opponent, shocking at least a little bit of the world here in this first match, taking a 2-0 advantage. It is the Mexican Terran.
SpeCIaL.
What a match, Artosis. What a match. I did not expect this.
It truly is. I want to see Stats maybe retreat from that style.
Okay.
I don't like Storm as your first source of splash when you're in Phoenixes. Like, everything feels a little bit brittle at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
it was made to look that way, for sure.
Yeah.
He had ghosts. The EMP was kind of weird. And even
the EMPs did not really even do that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, like, you're kind of playing with a brittle army, right? Because you already spent so much gas on Phoenixes. And Phoenixes, like, they help to clean up, like, harass and kill medevacs sometimes and stuff. But, like, they don't add a big punch to big battles.
Yeah.
Like, I like Colossus play to follow up Phoenix openings, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, that's what I would like to see here out of Stats. I think he does very well with Colossus-based plays.
Okay. Yeah, mix it up somewhat.
Yeah.
Do something different.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Robo here. Like, Stats on Newkirk does go Robo a fair amount because he is so good at splitting his units. Because the hard part is, like, can you defend your third and your main? And for Stats, the answer is yes.
This is not why Stats lost, and this is more just a topic of discussion than anything. I'm not going to, this is, not a major point, but I don't like the second Oracle against Terran either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're not getting that much more harass. I feel like you can almost constantly tag them otherwise. Yes, you get more stasis wards, and that's nice, but at 150 gas, I feel like that does delay quite a bit, especially if you're going Phoenix.
Okay.
You can get out that earlier Phoenix or two, and those can actually, even with the missile threat, still remain harassy. You're only worried about Widow Mines at that point in time, so But like I said, that's not game-changing. This is more just me being like, think about it.
That's interesting, because I actually am a double Oracle guy against Terran. I will always get that. I just, those additional stasis wards and the tagging and stuff, I'm a huge fan of. But
I think at Platinum level, it does a lot better too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you would know, Mr. Round of 16. But here we are now.
You're making a reference to a tournament that... You got to flush that out way more, man. Yeah, you're right. You actually... Who did you beat? It was like Zombie Grub? That was sick, dude. That was a really good match. That was good of you.
I wasn't able to play her, unfortunately.
Who did you beat?
Plenty of guys.
Yeah?
Unfortunately, I wasn't in your group for the easy PvP walkover, but maybe next time.
Man. This Smack Talk. I love it. I missed it.
Well,
I
now that
missed it.
StarCraft 1's back, we can really get into it, Chet.
I know. Well, I'll get into it, and you'll just kind of silently log off, I guess.
Sometimes.
There we go. The Reaper did get picked off there. And look, this fishing. You can dodge all you want, man. You can't dodge fate.
I wonder if Stats is thinking to himself right now, he's like, do I have to come in for that team match tomorrow?
Like, who is this guy?
Oh,
you can
man.
see it. I love the player cams. He's like, come on.
Yeah. That is the most painful thing
Oh,
in this
yes.
matchup is to lose that first Oracle.
And then he moves it. I love it. Does he
Yeah.
take the same flight? Oh, okay. It's on cooldown, so I guess it's safe. What if he adjusts, though? He's like, no, damn it. I
I'm
guess
gonna go
it
up to
wouldn't
the
have been a
middle
cooldown.
Yeah, it would
It
not
literally
have
would have.
been. But he's like far enough south it wouldn't.
All right.
But now he flies into a Viking.
Watch his face. Not that much.
Well, I guess now he's making the third Oracle. He really
No.
does want 2 Oracles.
No.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh
Please.
my god. Would that be the craziest thing ever?
He might just stand up out of his booth and like go shove SpeCIaL out of his chair. It's not supposed to be like this. Not in Korea. Nah, he's gonna get a tag here.
Ooh!
He's gotta get a tag. No, doesn't care.
Nah, he doesn't even want the tag.
He's gonna go and die.
Oh my god, is that going to
Look at him corral him. No!
Oh!
You ever had your life flash before your eyes?
Oh, that time for sure.
What a stupid placement by SpeCIaL, if we're being honest with yourself. Just put it a couple inches down, you know? Everybody knows.
Yeah, he would have gotten it.
Oh, here's
what
an
a
early
fool.
push.
That's where I would have put it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fast push. You talked about the Cyclone being strong against that fast third. Here you go.
Well, he has a stasis ward up. He has double Oracle.
Sees it, man. SpeCIAL's
What a
on top
scan.
of his game.
What
He lands
a
the
scan.
Vikings. They're good against Stalkers.
Yeah,
it's
they are.
real.
Oh
This
my
is the
god.
world we live in.
Okay, backs up out of range here. Stalker's being microed like really nicely by Stats. He really does not want to be going down here.
No, he's going to give it his all. I love the Revelations on Widow Mines. So much of their strength is pulled out when you can obviously see them. Almost everything outranges them. There's even a Void Ray here.
Yeah, Void Ray outranges him too. That Void Ray is actually like a really nice unit to have within here. That kind of kills everything there.
Void Rays are so great, man.
Yeah, in the early game, they're sick. All right, so I mean, at the end of the day, this was not so bad for Stats. Even though he
No.
lost that first Oracle, he really crushed this early push.
It's not even so bad. It's good. The defense there was really strong. Newkirk kind of begs for some early push at that third. It just feels too vulnerable. So a lot of players, even in like the PvZ matchup, I'd say even more common there. Stats has got to like this. This is where I make my commentator comment about overextending, but he's not going to do it. No way.
Is he not? All right, he's trying to break through right
He's
now. He
just
kills the tech
extending.
units.
He's extending right now.
Yeah, he is extending. Well, the Void Ray may be overextending slightly. Nope, just
Hit it.
barely not.
Hit the juice, man. And then
Look at that
there's
Void
no
Ray.
going home.
Void Ray is getting out of here. Oh my god, if he can turn on both these Oracles, he might be able to just deal so much damage here.
I like this. He actually goes back and holds his position close to the Stalkers because that's where all the SCVs are. I think he knows that he's not about to end the game with 5 Stalkers here, so killing those 10 SCVs right there is where the real strength of that push is going to come. Nicely done.
And now he's got a gigantically, look this, he's up 20 workers. He has a better army. He's killed off most of the tech units of his opponent. He still has his double Oracle and that very bruised Void Ray.
Yep.
This is a good place for Stats.
It is. And this drop's going to come in, but it's going to be, should be picked up. Should be spotted. Hello.
It's like threading the needle right here.
I knew you'd be there, for I am the Oracle. Did you know that?
Who's saying that? SpeCIaL or
Oracle,
Stats?
dude. Yeah.
Oh, the Oracle itself is saying that.
It's got a whispery internal voice in that concept. And here we go. It's going to be pushed back. There's too much units. This is the kind of thing that we were talking about earlier where the drop by itself, I guess against non-Phoenix, especially on Newkirk, you can land up in that main and have some escapability, but it just gets very scary. If it gets spotted like that and you overcommit, is Blink finished? I don't think it is.
No, he got Glaives first.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of like pushed back because of that initial push. He was just warping units as much as possible. And he is going into Colossus play, so I really like this. Like, Glaives into Blink, super safe. Double Robo Colossus, super safe.
Yep.
He's going to have a ground pound in an army. It's going to be really hard for SpeCIaL to kill him, especially considering he started out behind.
The one kind of interesting thing about this map is it's wide open at the third, which is in many ways good for the Terran. Because against Colossus, one of the best ways to combat them is just spreading, just kind of getting out there and having a big concave. The damage output from those Colossus is not what it used to be. It's still okay, don't get me wrong, but it's just not super amazing. Remember the Void Ray?
Yeah, there it is. Pushing everything back.
Oh! if we could ever get you to make that sound again.
I don't even know what I was awing for.
Well,
was it the medevac?
It
Was it
was.
the widow
Yeah,
mines? The
it was
probes that might die? Like,
pretty bad. It's just hovering here too. You actually like micro to that spot. He's like, maybe you'll forget.
If I had a stalker and a high tempo next to that, I would feedback it.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though it's got like 1 hit point on it.
It's one of the coolest animations in the
It-
game. Like, huzzah!
It feels, nothing feels better than killing medevacs that are at full health.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Scourging science vessels back in the day was one of the best feelings. We'll have to
Let me
settle
fix
this.
that for you. It was one of the worst feelings.
You're right.
Okay, so he is going into this Colossus tech. The Ghost Academy just finished up. I mean, ghosts are always good to have, right? But it doesn't like really super counter anything here. But he is making Vikings.
Yeah.
And this is something that SpeCIaL is somewhat vocal on. He doesn't like to get Liberator range too early. He likes it after 4 bases. But he does still like Vikings against Colossus. You see some Terrans are just like, more Liberators. But SpeCIaL, he likes to just snipe them down with those Vikings.
I like it. I like it. And I love actually the couple of ghosts. I think one of the biggest arguments against ghosts is that it's really hard to control. So for a lot of Terrans, they don't look at the ghost and say, no, it's a stupid unit. I don't like its health or its abilities are bad. Nobody says that. They just say, boy, is that hard to control when you have Vikings, Medevacs, Marines, Marauders, and Liberators. And Widow Mines. It's one of the most complex armies to control in this game. But if you can land a couple of EMPs, sure, we talked about the Templar, but let's not forget it does shield damage. Just removes shield from a giant ball. Especially with the way Protoss have their armies, a lot of times you can hit and do what equates to thousands of damage.
Yeah.
You can actually
It's
do
kind of a
thousands
crazy
damage.
thing. Especially, like, the thing is, you normally think of it as a counter to, like,
The
High
abilities.
Templars.
Yeah.
Like you get rid of mana, right? But actually, those armies are way more spread out. Something like Colossus, you're generally in a ball the whole time anyway, so a couple of EMPs can hit everything.
Widow Mines will deliver their payload to a little
Single
guy there.
adept.
A little adept. You're gone, my man. But look at that. So charge coming up here, all the proper upgrades. You still got to like stats position.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this, you're like, look at the supply, and look at all that. Yeah, it's fine. It's going to be max. They're not going to... stats might be coming out right now, and even then, by then, it'll be close to max for SpeCIaL. Looking at the armies, this is going to come down to execution again, and I love that, because there's still a chance for SpeCIaL to really clobber this. There's that common negative space right there where you can put the Vikings... Look at that EMP.
That was a really good EMP,
Did he
too.
hit all the freaking sentries?
He hit the sentries and the immortal. So that's like really high quality right there. I love this little poke in with the adepts trying to get something done. And
wow.
Man, that's a very good drop right now. Not many units at home for stats.
And he's just going to go right after the probes. There's a single pylon. He's kind of ignoring the adepts right now. He's like, yep, you might eventually deal with this, but not until we kill 5 probes.
And damage all the rest.
And there's that pseudo max from SpeCIaL. He is going to push across. His Viking count, muy bien, by the way. I love it. It's not too many. It's definitely not too few. He's backed up by ghosts.
And if he can take out those Colossus quickly, there's no storm yet. So that's all the splash damage.
Yep.
This is something that can be a little bit scary when you're only on Colossus. If they manage to kill your army, you're just warping in gateway units to try to deal with them. And they got medevacs. They have, just all sorts of bio there.
Love this warping too, though. That is an aggressive, you say it aggressive. It's a floated main up there to that 4th base. By the way, it's not a planetary, so you get a lot of damage here, actually. And that's going to be almost it for the Oracles. But those Adepts are going to tear up that 4th. And when a Terran's maxed or close to it like this, by the way, you might have some forces outside that 3rd, but it gets harder to deal with this harass.
Yeah, that is actually really true, because you've got to keep a big army together. You have to have enough to kill the army after you kill the Colossi.
I think he killed the gas tower or whatever that blocks that ramp, because they are just locked up there.
Yeah, the rocks are there. It looks like he's shaded down into the 3rd. And yeah, there's almost no units down here, so these Adepts are going to do a lot of damage. Does SpeCIaL pull the trigger and go? Turning around at this point doesn't seem like a good approach.
Nope, he's going to go in. And for some reason, stats forfeit all the position. He pulls back, gets a feedback off, but that's it. There's no Storm here. Storm's about to finish. I don't see any Templar. The base dies almost immediately. He can go get those pylons, start killing some of his production here as well. And look at Stats just pulling back. He's going to have to start fighting because the Vikings get some free shots. One Colossus dies.
Every High Templar gone. The Archon falls as well. And with only 3 Colossus left, this army of Stats does not beat what SpeCIaL has.
Holy cow. He's got the low ground now as well. Stats is going to go to that high ground to try and defend. Yes, a lot of SCVs got cleaned up. Supplies wildly in SpeCIAL's favor. And keep in mind, not to make this like a whine or something, but Terran doesn't mind missing out on some SCVs for a while. They can kind of shore it up with Mules, and now another Colossus might go down. Well, it's almost down.
Oh, man. He's not even getting any Colossus damage at this point. This is some great moves from SpeCIaL. Taking down the Colossus now, a big blink over, but he doesn't have enough gateway units to clean up this bio. That is a ton of damage output.
That is just not enough, Artosis. And even with just the one mana back, it don't matter. There go the Adepts. He's going to have another warp in here. That's good, because the next stim's going to drop this army to very low health. And he's going to kite backwards, but a lot of those charge lots die pretty quickly. I think ultimately Stats does clean this up. He's taking a pretty good supply advantage, and all of a sudden, that damage he did back at the third is starting to really matter. He's not able to rebuild as well here.
He certainly is not, but he does have the 4 bases up right now. He reduced all the splash damage, right? There's no High Templars, there's no Colossus left, so this is basically just Stats going to try to bludgeon him. I don't think SpeCIaL will die against this, and Stats has to get another Nexus up.
He's going to push forward and kind of test the water, see where we're at. I hate to be that guy, but man, a single Dark Shrine, by the way, I feel like it wins the game. He's going to use all the energy. There's no missile turrets.
It is a good point. You kill a lot of SCVs, and they use mules more often.
Anytime you get in these low SCV times, Dark Templar, their value, man, buy stock in them. They go through the roof.
Absolutely agree with you on that one.
This is awkward. And one Marauder's like, where are they? Are they behind this gas? I could have sworn they're behind this gas. The medevac count, by the way, that was something. Yeah. And you got to look out for that with SpeCIaL, because he does so much harass that eventually got to the point in time where that army that, like, the Stalkers blinked down, I was ready to be like, GG, 3-0,
yeah.
But he only had one medevac. Every time he stemmed, he's like, let me go ahead and just, you know, take a quarter of our health out of here.
Yeah, that was... I was pretty surprised. I thought that he would be able to roll through the army there. That one warping of Zealots at the end, like 2-2 Zealots, they are so tanky. There's such a nice warp in when like the technicality of everything goes down, Zealots become just god tier.
Stats did a good job preserving his Stalkers too. Like if he just A moves there and ignores them and does that warp in, the Stalkers lose. I mean, their DPS is really unimpressive, so they would just pretty much die, and the Zealots would start walking around behind. But he knew to pull back, say, go ahead and stim up this ramp, hurt yourself again. The Zealots come in, like you said, and then with the no medevacs, he just cleans up. But it's been a bit of a reset. There's a supply advantage for Stats, but base-wise, they're similar. That being said, Stats is going to that next base, and I do feel like this is also where the Templar tech's really powerful, because when you do have your splash reset, it's fairly inexpensive to add Templar.
Yeah, that is true. Has he added a lot of Templar? I saw like a Disruptor, there's one class. Okay, he has 3 Templar. This is a quality army. It's going to be hard to get EMPs off at this point. Your army is not nearly as big and flexible as it was before.
Well, EMPs, I don't know if he has Ghosts, because those are expensive as well. He's going to jump forward here. His Stats, that Observer just spotting everything, by the way. There's a Ghost, you were saying that, so there's one there, and even one back here helping defend. But I love this from Stats, by the way. It's just going to remain committed to just saying, okay, well, you floated, you know, this base is really important to you. I'm going to forever harass it.
And because he has to defend against the frontal push here at this third base, so it does become a little bit tough with those rocks down to really, you know, set up the defense that you need.
All right, Stats needs this. He's got his back up against the wall. You'll see that score 2-0 in favor of SpeCIaL. If he wins this, he will advance to the round of 4.
You know,
really
that's
impressive.
A crazy thing that I actually like forgot while commentating this. It's like, I'm like sitting here like, oh yeah, no, Stats can definitely kill in this game. But it's like SpeCIaL shouldn't even truly care. This is a good map for Stats. Overall, he's very good at defense, and it's kind of like
nerves,
smaller.
I guess. It gets a little bit more worrisome when you're like, oh my god, I've lost a game. But look at this army from SpeCIaL. That is a Doomsday army. He can do it with that, and he seems to be fairly content playing the defensive game here as well. He's waiting for his, oh wow, okay, so we didn't talk about this, but upgrade-wise, that's just 3 attack, and is that 2 armor?
Yeah, that's 2 armor.
So
whereas
a little bit behind
plus 3
upgrades.
armor, I believe, is done now for...
Yeah, I think it's
Protoss.
3-3 for Stats.
Yeah, he's got plus 3 attack on the way still.
Oh, okay, no. Yeah.
But he has, he has plus 3 armor already
that
done,
EMP,
so...
man.
Yeah, very good EMPs going down. Does force a cancel here on the command center.
I see why he goes Ghost as much as he does. This has been insane. One thing to keep note, and I would love, and this is again us being the privileged casters, there's 4 more Vikings coming out. Send your Vikings over there. Find out what is doing that right there. We know it's a pylon, but figure it out, because this is going to happen forever. The 2 Marauders are not going to be enough. I would send Zealots forever if I was Stats.
Oh, absolutely. You just keep warping it in. Well, you'd be sending a Dark Templar.
You're right.
Because I know that's the only thing you
Everywhere.
do when I read the Twitch chat. I'm pretty sure that's...
Well, why not, man? They're invisible, dude. They got swords.
That's so
What
crazy.
is not to like?
They do the most damage.
Yeah.
They do more damage than a Colossus.
You can even give him a blink upgrade.
Oh my god.
Can't give a Zelda blink upgrade.
Remember everyone thought that would be broken? Show how smart everyone is.
And then there's that one game where the what's his name did like the
Nightmare.
9 DTs blinking on top of the Terran armor. We're like, it's happening.
Awesome.
this is the final evolution.
The understar
And then it
crab.
never happened again, or I think one
Yeah.
more time, and people were like, all right, never mind.
Just never works. All right, some nice baiting there of Widowmine shots by Stats. Has a great army at the moment.
Yeah.
There is a decent Viking count out, but this is not a perfect composition quite yet from Social. I guess it is like pretty strong, especially considering he keeps hitting good EMPs.
They both have good armies, but it's not even Stats' army that I'm looking at that gives me like, oh, wow, what a powerful position. Look at his half of the map.
Yeah.
He's taken all the bases. He's got Storm. He's going into shields because he's just run out of stuff. I love that he's building cannons. It's like kind of a small thing, but it makes it really difficult for Terran to just really harass a base.
It also, when we saw he had like high Templars behind there,
Special's
you
gone.
can't EMP those very easily at all.
The
It's
whole
like
game's
really
here.
hard.
He's got to put it right here. And this is hugely favored for Protoss. He just needs to land like 2 storms.
Yeah, and he's going to do it.
Might have been left
I
away.
think the side storm just occurred.
Yeah. They
All right,
did. And
well.
here comes the army to clean it up.
Well, the Vikings going to be able to take out these Colossus for sure, and there's a lot of bile left over, but yeah, this is looking like Stats should be able to clean up with another Warp.
Yep. Huge storms go down, and there it is. GG is called from Special. We've seen this a million times before. Terran is very good at base trading, but when they're going out into a map like that, where there's a base above them, there's a base below them, they know the army's behind them, dodging storms and avoiding that is just nigh on impossible.
No.
I don't even look at that and say, Special, you made a huge mistake. It's not like that.
No.
What happened here for me that I think is the slight mistake, but again, it's like a nearly impossible situation for Special, is he was getting harassed every 3 seconds at that base, and he just kept being like, okay, well, let's send 2 Marauders, and they will kill what is harassing, but he's losing 5-6 SCVs every time of the like 35 that he had. So it was an impossible situation because I feel like he did not dedicate enough resources to that, basically.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we see Terrans just make a planetary their 4th there, just to make sure that it's a little bit easier to defend. And when they
absolutely.
don't, and there's like 1 Marauder in the line, it's like, yeah, you're going to take a lot of damage over here when those rocks are gone. It's just so easy for Stats to send anything over there. But
the other thing we look at too, though, is when we were ready to talk about Stats getting 3-0'd because the army, the fight, losing of the 4th base over on the other side of the map, that was incredible. But he shaded in Adepts on top of the 3rd and killed like 20 SCVs.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do that little move, 100% dead. I don't care about the 4th. Special has all the money in the world to rebuild. It's game over.
Can't deny it. Down here in the bottom left, winning that last game, putting himself on the board. Our Korean player.
Splice stats.
Showing some life. Played really well. His opponent showing a lot of life, playing really, really well. And also, when you order a burrito, you don't ask for the plain sauce. You ask for the
Special.
sauce. Whoa.
Wow. I thought
Did
that
you
was
know
a
that?
McDonald's thing.
Nah, you can do that there too. That's the thing.
I'm like, hot sauce. You asked for the hot sauce.
Everything's got special sauce.
Ah,
You and I, McDonald's, everything.
yeah. You and I have special sauce.
We do.
I see it perspirating on your forehead right
Dude,
now.
I'm sweating up a storm. It's hot here. in
These
Seoul,
lights
Korea.
are hot. There's a lot of people in here.
Great action. I don't
Yeah.
mind it. You know, there was a time when I would worry about being a sweaty commentator. But you know what? I'm standing next to one of my best buds. I'm talking to a great audience. We're casting some great games. What's to worry about?
Nothing, actually.
Literally
Jeff.
nothing.
I mean, at this point, I've given up on everything else. This is it. Like,
This is all we need.
I just want to watch good games and play good games, man.
Got remastered to play after this?
Oh, jeez.
I've got my infinite memory and all that smack you talked in game 1. God. You know? I've got the next 10 years of my life mapped out, Dan.
Yeah. I'm glad.
I like how I tried to help you talk smack, though, because you were like, round of 16 over here, and I was like, no, Dan, nobody gets that. But if you say caster tournament, you have sunk a harpoon in my heart.
Well, I don't want to sink a harpoon in your heart. I want only you to feel it.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the people at home to be like, yeah,
I like
Jeff,
that.
you're dumb. I just want you to feel inside like,
just here?
oh, I'm dumb. This
Well
is a
played.
very personal thing, Jeff.
Okay, never mind. I
Yeah.
didn't think that level of TVC exists. Okay. I got it now. All right, well, here we go. We're on Mech Depot, or Depot for some of you European fans. And this map, if your stats, I feel like you do a little bit more of the same. We're in a bit of a map pool here where it's not like, oh my god, let's talk about drops on this map. It's like every map It's a fairly good gridiron type map where you can drop, but it doesn't necessarily dictate that you must. That being said, Newkirk is like the best defensive map, I think. You take those first 3 bases, even your 4th base is fairly defensible.
Like, I think if you live through the mid game, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of everything is close to each other. There's not any tricky terrain really. It's just that kind of mid game, the Terran pushes can come out very quickly.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. If you don't go Phoenix, you can push into the 3rd, pick up, and go into the main.
Yeah,
that wasn't really done at all. He went for that Cyclone kind of 1 medevac type push.
Yeah.
Got okay damage, but you were talking about it. It was like perfect Stalker micro to really make that look like a bad push. I think for a lot of other Protoss, that would have been GG, man. It's curtains.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, if you don't have your overcharge in time, if you're not microing your Stalkers perfectly and tagging those mines, SpeCIaL runs over your Nexus, and then you're just sitting there like, oops, you know, I put everything into having a Nexus, and now I don't have it. Uh-oh.
I liked it, too, because if you guys can remember back to that fight, he only had the 1 pylon. The photon overcharge kind of delayed. And then he was actually building another one in a better position that guarded the mineral line and the Nexus as well, mid-fight. So it was kind of a... Because my question, when I look at a lot of these pros, I mean, I don't do this correctly, but when I play, I'm like, 5 pylons. I want all the options. You know, I give them the 4 photon overcharge.
Yeah.
When Koreans do it, they're playing so sharp.
Yeah.
Not even just Koreans, just top players, so sharp. They don't overspin if they can't help it, and they will put in responses trying to cut those corners. That's what he did there.
By the way, what year is it? Because this is Blink Observer.
Okay. Rain.
This is like the oldest build in the book for defensive
Rain
Protoss.
somewhere out there. Yeah, I like it.
Rip.
Got a drop coming here, man.
May he rest in peace while playing Brood War professionally. Okay.
Is he?
Yeah, he is actually. He's one of the best Protosses in the world right now in StarCraft 1. But look at that scan to pick off the Observer. Sick move right there. But, I mean, he's just going to get another one out.
Yeah.
I like it, though. Sniping Observer's just neat.
It is neat. Damn, I like that, too, man. This Observer back at home, speaking of which, by the way, getting a lot of information. There's even a Raven coming out. I kind of like that. It makes it hard life for those Observers. And then you get things like those auto turrets. And if you want a PDD against Stalker opening, can be very helpful.
Yeah, PDD definitely can be worthwhile. You don't see as much auto turret harass against Protoss, but from time to time someone gets a little bit sneaky with that.
It's not a bad bolt in the chamber because, like, if they're not paying attention, the DPS from those things, it'll kill 5 or 6 probes very quickly. And sometimes you get a photon overcharge out of it as well, which kind of empowers further drops. It's pretty cool. I like it. Yeah. I like the Raven.
So 3rd base on the way, getting glaives as well. Looks like a siege tank being made here. Probably defensive for SpeCIaL. If you like just randomly were deciding to go siege tanks right off the bat, and your opponent did something like Blink and Observer, you'll probably just kill him. Blink is not very good against siege tank pushes, but this is not a siege tank push build. He's taking his 3rd.
All right. I like to get really imaginative, and I'm like, you know what, though, with that Raven, if you can just hit the right combo really quickly, let's get spotted here as well.
This isn't
Street
Street Fighter, my friend.
Very smart players. And, well, what'd that get? 1?
Yeah.
Could have been better.
Could have been worse.
That's true. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, no problem. This is what I'm here for.
I didn't know when you turned into TLO, but you did.
Oh. Somewhere between forever and creative is where I turned
Dan's so
into
good with
TLO.
somebody. You notice when he cashed with Tasteless, he never argues with Jeff. He's just telling him everything's wrong. It's like, man, he's so good.
Yeah, really know what I'm talking about.
All right. You know what? I'm feeling it. This is going to Game 5, by the way. Stats is starting to pick it up. Just figured out a little bit of the formula. What? Why? I saw that coming forever ago. All right? That was I'm Morpheus. I'm like, no, you're going to sacrifice the medevac for these Blink Stalkers just to blink away. But also, Protoss suck, right? God, you're lasers. What's in there? Adepts?
Yes, there are. And in fact, he has glaives and +1, so definitely a lot of damage can be dealt by this little drop.
Yeah.
He's going into Colossus Tech right now, making a few Immortals as well. Big warping of Adepts.
Shade over to the natural, why not?
SpeCIaL is halfway across the map right now with most of his army.
No, he's not. He's dead. He's dead, man.
Okay. Well,
Raise the gate!
That's not different from what I said, but okay, just say no. Big shade down into this natural here.
Oh my god.
God, 15 SCVs already falling.
Mostly from the Widowmine, too. And he's coming home now, I think. There's some, I think that might be a Liberator over behind the third or something, but maybe an auto turret, just doesn't matter. He has taken game-ending type of damage inside the main. The Warp Prism's still there. The Viking maybe thinking it's done. Yeah, it was an auto turret, I guess. Did some damage. But it's 42.
Where his stats is at right now, he has to feel like this is almost wrapped up. I mean, he's getting Colossus out right now. Oh, that's cute. Hide that behind the trees. But, no, I mean, Stats' position is so nice, and to have lost that many SCVs is definitely very painful here for SpeCIaL. Doesn't have a lot going on. He's not very active on the map right now other than that one Raven who's trying to get home.
And you can see it. I love these player cams. Just a big, deep breath, kind of looking around like, oh, my God. And now he falls back on, you know, he's got a late stim coming in, so this army that's out in the middle of the map, it's you might look at the army supply and go, wow, it's really scary, but without stim, in fact, that might have been what that Psy was. I think he might have just forgot
Oh,
stim.
God, you are completely right. I actually did not even realize that.
He didn't
Yeah, no,
either.
stim this late. Like, stim is one of those upgrades that if you don't have it early, the game is done.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like,
escapability, it's aggression, it's everything.
I know you've done it as a Protoss before, but like if you can kill the tech lab that's making stim
yeah.
one time, you win! Whoa! It's so sick!
There's a lot of players who leave.
Yeah.
Just done. So yeah, what happens here for those of you, I guess, that are wondering why we're analyzing it that way, you basically have to be at home. And Terran early and mid-game needs to pick and prod at the Protoss. They need to do it to figure out their tech. They also need to do it to slow them down. And that's not happening here. Is he? Okay. He does get it.
He's got it.
So this army pushing out from Stats, that's not the scariest, but he's taking a fourth behind this as well. And I don't think he knows there's no stim just yet. But he's able to kind of manipulate. So SpeCIaL is galvanized and having to stay back here because he has to wait for that stim. Stats has to mess this up, basically, is what this comes down to. He needs to take a really bad fight for SpeCIaL to win here.
And the thing is, he doesn't even have to engage. He's taking a fourth base. He's getting upgrades. He has a great unit composition. Like, things are very much looking his way. Now, when stim finishes, finally we can see SpeCIaL try to do something. But, like, all those little mid-game things that people lose their mind over, all the drops, the harassment, the pressures, he hasn't done. He's done, like, an auto turret harass and a failed mine drop in the middle of the map. You know, it's...
Yeah. You know what, though? I'm gonna pump the brakes on our hate train right here because despite
hate,
that,
it's sadness.
Well, this sad train anything, Dan, here. Like, looking at this, considering all the things that went wrong for SpeCIaL, he's in the ballpark in Harvesters. He's got the armies building up. Vikings are coming out.
Yeah.
Storm is, you know, coming up here with his Templar Archives about to finish. So, is SpeCIaL dead? No. Is he behind? Yes, but not as much as I think perhaps we would have let on.
And to be fair, look at the Viking count. It's actually getting up very high very quickly. And this is nice because Psystorm just started. He's making like a disruptor, but I mean, that's all micro-based, right? So you can end up dodging that. If he just knocks out the Colossi, hey, there you have it. That could be a victory right there.
I figured it out, Dan.
What?
The reason we're getting so negative is because Tasteless was such a downer in that opener, talking about how he had no chance at all, that I began to believe it. SpeCIaL has no chance.
Well, see, this is a little trick that I've learned over the years, casting.
Just don't listen to him.
That and don't believe what he says. Don't believe his lies. I wake up and that's tattooed on my arm every day.
He's a Protoss player. He's a trickster.
Okay, a couple disruptors here. Psystorm
Love
not
that,
quite
though.
done.
I love the disruptors.
Yeah, they definitely they buy a ton of time, if nothing else.
Oh, we're gonna have that fight right here, though. He's gonna push forward. He's emboldened by those disruptors. No big hits here, though. The Stalker's kind of by themselves. A couple do die in exchange for the Vikings, but they do get one of the Colossus. And now he's in a really weird spot. That's not a place you want to engage. The first disruptor gets a couple of Marines, but that ain't much. And that third, excuse me, fourth? No, that is the third base. A little bit exposed. He knows it. He's going to push forward. Shades forward. Blinks forward. He's committed to it. The Storms, though. Yowzers. It gets the Vikings and it gets the Bio. That's a clean. That's a wrap. Not the biggest of difference in supply, but the tech that remains for Stats is super strong here.
Yeah, not too much left here for SpeCIaL. Trying to take out that last Colossi. Can't even do that. Two Immortals left in the front here to just butcher these Marauders.
Nice done. Hands off the keyboard.
That's it,
GG.
yeah.
We're going to Game 5. SpeCIaL was not able to get that harass that Artosis was talking about. Forgets the sim back at home. It's a huge mistake, especially on a stage. I mean, and this is Stats, man. He's a tiger. You pulled his tail. You start a couple of fires, really scared him.
Yeah.
This is what happens. He strikes back. So we're going to Game 5 here.
Well, for Stats now, it's showtime, right?
That's a player's name.
Yeah, and the same thing happened to him.
Oh,
Going up
my
2-0
God.
against
So
one of the
many
greatest
levels
players
of
in the world.
Damn, this is why they truly call you Artosis. You're one of the best.
That's why they call me Artosis. That's right.
Yeah.
It's not because I made that up when I was like 16. It's like, oh, that's a cool ID.
It is, though, isn't it?
It actually is a really cool ID.
You're a big fan of the Artois beer or whatever it was?
No, I have to sue them. Actually.
Don't we all?
They're using my likeness to sell beer all over the world. That's really not. I'm not down with that.
People that cash in on esports like that makes me sick, man. Yeah. We're going to Odyssey. And I think it was Rotterdam calling for it. Wanted to see Odyssey. Maybe it was you. And this is awesome. Great first match. We got 5 more after this, guys. We're going to do the whole round of 8.
Yeah.
And go right into that semifinal so that we will know who our finals is tomorrow when we're at that university. What is it called? Kyunghee?
Kyunghee.
Kyunghee?
Yeah.
Nick pronounced it with a G, and I was like, that just doesn't sound right at all.
It's kind of like a softish G.
Oh, damn. It was right then?
Yeah, kind of. All right, in the top left, a GSL champion bringing it back 2 in a row. Can he finish off his Mexican opponent? He is.
Splice Stats.
Looking good. Playing good. And his opponent, the lower right-hand side, can he take this back and avoid tragedy? It's the Mexican Terran.
Special.
It's all a big branding thing. He's going to have like the first esports cologne in 5 years when he's easily the best South American player there is. SpeCIaL.
I would wear it.
Yeah, I would too. A lot of people would. All right.
Trying to imagine what kind of smell that would be.
Oh.
It makes you smell
You know,
like a brand new Liberator over a drone line.
If I don't know, man. If I'm being honest, like a lot of colognes smell pretty much the same to me.
Yeah.
But they all smell good. I've never smelled a cologne and been like, I don't like that. I think that smells
agree
terrible.
with that, yeah.
And I feel bad because everyone I talk to, except for apparently you, they're always like, oh, no, I don't like that one. No. And why?
I don't get that.
It's
Yeah.
too strong, or it's, I don't know, it tastes like an older man. I'm like, I know a lot of great older guys.
Yeah.
They smell good, too.
I think old guys smell great.
They tend to smell very good.
Yeah. You didn't live that long and not learn how to wash, right?
No. Hopefully.
Hopefully
When
not.
I'm an old guy, will you let me know if I don't smell good? Because I want to be one of those old guys that
I
smells
will
good.
absolutely let you know.
Thank you. Great audience here, by the way.
Yeah.
I have nothing to gauge that off of other than Nick and Dan constantly saying it's a good audience. So thank
No,
you,
this is
everyone.
good. Turn around and look. I mean, there's a lot of people here today. We had to add in extra chairs in the back.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a lot of people here today.
Very cool.
It is Saturday here in Korea, so kind of makes sense in that way.
Dude, I had spicy cheesy ramen finally.
Yes.
That is how I complete my Korean trips. It's
We've
such good food.
We've been going so late. I haven't been able to really do too much. Long days here.
Now, this getting scouted is a bit interesting. So it's not an all-in. It is a tech before Nexus, which is a bit odd. So look at how good SpeCIaL is. He scouts the no Nexus. Instead of freaking out and batting down the hatch and saying, I'm getting all in, he's going, where's the proxy?
Yes.
He's getting a Cyclone out, adding the engineering bay. He's even predicting the tech fairly correctly. Now, to be fair, if it was like proxy DTs, you'd still want that engineering bay, but he might even find this.
Yeah, he could end up scouting it. It's like
Well, he
there's
sees
only
the
a few
pro.
positions that you generally make it in. Now, he finishes the command center, so that's really nice. He can get that underway. But, you know, with the Cyclone about to pop out, I think he's going to be completely fine defending against this. I don't expect too many probes to go down.
No.
SCVs.
Oh, come on! Did you just do that?
Oh, man.
He literally bobbed and
That's
weaved
tough.
a perfect circle around it. Holy cow.
Gosh.
But
That
you know
is
what? He
painful.
sees the
Okay,
Oracle.
yeah. So it doesn't matter as much where it's coming from. Some very good damage being put on this Oracle.
You do want to know, though, to kill the pylon and
Oh, yeah.
kind of punish the tech. I think he'll find it, right? He's got a... Actually, kind of a subtle good thing here, by the way, was the wall in at the ramp, because this is something we've seen from, I want to say, Neeb. Does it quite often, where it's an Oracle or two paired with a few Adepts. And if you really try to actually saturate your natural anyways, the combined forces can rock the SCVs there. And then you're like, oh, no,
absolutely.
I'll throw my 3 Marines and 1 Cyclone there, and that can lose 2.
Well, he's going to take kind of the slow road against this, but I think we're going to just see a blink in like 3 gates coming up after this.
Yeah.
That's a very common follow-up to these proxy Stargate Oracles.
He gets a laser beam down there from that Oracle. Sees it went back home, so he's fairly confident he's safe to start working up that natural. Actually, that's the second Oracle. Interesting.
Now, Blink is on the way, so that's going to be the next kind of phase of this, right? He doesn't expect to lose too many more SCVs. He's going to try to keep pushing these back.
Oh, the bait.
Stats is too smart
He
for
sees
that.
it, though. You're not covering it, man.
He's
You
like
gotta stand
playing.
on
He's
it.
like, oh, I'm going in. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not.
I'm going to kill that one Marine. Not today, special. You got to fish deeper than that. You got to put that Widowmine out in super clever spots. Okay, now he is on top of it, by the way, but it's fine. All right, more gateways being added, and there is that Blink as Artosis predicted and saw coming. We actually saw Zest at Home Story Cup do an opening like this and then kind of win, like 9 Stalkers.
Oh, it's such a weird timing, isn't it?
It shows up at a very weird time.
Yeah, and it's like you feel like when you watch it, wait a minute, don't Terrans normally have more units than that?
It doesn't work on the ladder. It doesn't work on the ladder.
No, it's not a ladder.
You will lose to literally a 4,200 MMR North American Terran. They'll be like, wow, that's incredible. I was
You'll have 2 siege tanks to siege mode.
I had, 2 tanks, 46 Marauders, 17 medevacs. I was like, that's so silly. But you hit these like high-level guys who are like, oh, 3 CC, double engineering bay, just minimal units, and it's like, oh, Stalkers can do it.
Well, I don't think Special's going to fall over to this, to be honest. His
No.
siege tank is about to finish. Everything's looking all right. How many Stalkers are out right now? Like 6?
Yeah. I like this, though. Kind of early working on it.
Ooh!
Oh, my God. Pulls it back in the Marines body block their own dude.
Oh, God. What? Okay, well, that's a good amount of Stalkers. Blink is just about to finish here, but a bunker's up, a siege tank. Yeah.
He could blink into the main. That's the kind of cool synergy of this. So you can see Special already kind of swinging over there some units. It is just a few Stalkers. He's missing the fast third, though. I see a probe over by those minerals, but I do think that is the follow-up here. Wow, he blinked up.
Yeah, and a siege tank is already up here in position.
Whoa.
He's going to continue to maneuver around a little bit, throwing down the double stasis ward.
I'm like, well, wow, it's working out. Okay, so he picks off both. He's just jumping on top of the tank. He's actually doing a lot of damage here, but he's going to lose, I think, all the Stalkers, which is really bad for Protoss.
Okay, so I do need to say one thing here. Like, he killed a lot of units. He got a good amount of SCVs, so I think it was like, okay.
Yes.
But a lot of the times I see these top green Protosses with specifically this build make stasis wards at the back side. If you just turn on your oracles and attack the army with your Stalkers, you kill everything there, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. Speak of the devil there, actually a couple more Marines do die here. This is, I was ready to talk about how this is bad, because if you lose your Stalkers at Protoss, it's really, really bad. Still no third, so that's where this is not super great. But I love the shade in at the natural. He picked off both the Cyclones, I think both the tanks, so he's getting value for the Stalkers, and I do feel like that's huge, but wow. Huge gateway explosion here.
Starts at third Nexus afterwards as well, getting Glaives and +1, so definitely getting those types of units he's going to need to hold any upcoming pushes.
Special's in trouble, though. Down to 42 workers again. He lost a grip. I think it was like 12 or 15 or so. He doesn't really have the punching power to get out there. That's the nice thing about those Stalkers, by the way, is they make you afraid of a blink up in your main. You can't really comfortably lean out some harass because those Stalkers can run that down as well. Nice little pick up here from the Viking. As I say that. Nice attempt, I suppose. So I gotta love, I really do, I love stats position again. He doesn't have a standing army that's super scary right now, but with the 10 or so gateways, or 8 or 9, he's got the ability to make it, and that Stalker tech is so strong here.
Yeah, like he just kind of has map control at this point. Special is having to sit back some. He has a couple siege tanks, but I feel like siege tank attacks, the time has maybe come and gone, considering there's 7 or 8 gates and Glaives about to finish.
Yeah, Special might be all in here, man. He's adding more barracks. Medevac's coming out. I don't think he's adding a third. I think he's going to push across, and that's going to be the entire series on the back of this attack.
Just push into the third base and see what you can do. That is an area where it can be a little bit hard to defend, getting your units into the right position. And he has a couple siege tanks, good amount of medevacs.
Glaives will finish, or have finished, excuse me. +1 attack will be loaded up here for our Protoss player. Getting this pylon's nice. It's a reinforcement point.
But Stats is making a beeline to intercept this army. If he could kill that group of units, the game is over.
He needs to get the medevacs over there and pick that up.
Yeah.
Are they going to walk home? Yeah, okay. Stats is not.
All right.
He wasn't beelining for it. I guess if they get reinforced, there's a chance it gets turned around on him.
Yeah, it's true. Good scan there to just check if there's a gold base. See just how greedy Stats is being behind.
Oh, man. Just now combat shield, too.
I don't think this is when you attack his Stats, by the way. Ooh, good force fields right there. Oh, that was a close one right there.
It was. But he's out here. Not really.
Yeah, he's not going to finish that. Oh, my God.
Spreading
Maybe he is.
It's scary, though, because Special's not defending anything out there, so fighting out here away from his tanks is a bit of a peculiar choice. He's seeing such a beefy army out there, it's got to be giving him some doubts, but he's just doing it, man. I don't see a CC going down behind us. That'd be really, really weird. Combat Shield's about to finish. 5 Marines, 2 Marauders at a time. It's go.
Colossus tech coming up from stats. Yeah, like you actually need to hit before he has those Colossus
The
actually
Colossus
in
tech is
play.
the best thing that Special could see right now. Like that tech should never show up. It'd be really weird if Special waited that long. And even if one Colossus is there, it's going to have no range. So
He's making another Immortal here as well, going into charge. I do like the fact that he's getting charged this early as well. It's just kind of like you're playing against a 2-base Terran. Charge reinforcements are going to be great. And Special is starting to push out a bit.
yeah, he's been revealed, and that should be kind of the remainder of the match. So it's making him feel a little bit weird. A couple Liberators being added to this. Still no third CC. He's doing that thing which can be really hard for Protoss, and that is like aggro, aggro, aggro. You know, I'm going to attack at any moment, so the Protoss just keeps adding more Zealots, keeps adding more Adepts, but scaling up, unless you get that AoE, the Terran army becomes way more powerful. 4, 6 medevacs, stimmed. I don't care how many Adepts and Zealots you have.
You're right there. Like, I think we're at that point now as well, where Special just has a better army at this moment. As Charge finishes up, as he gets multiple Colossus out, we can talk about that again, but with these Liberators, Siege Tanks, and this much bio, this is really the time where Special needs to think about moving out.
But now it's 2 Colossus at a time, so I think there's already 1 out. It's going to be up to 3. I feel like that analysis very quickly flips on its head. I love this harass inside the main here as well. Warping in more units. He's just going to try to buy time, because as those Colossus finish up, as their range finishes up, this becomes a huge issue. The Liberators have to stay back at home. They're not being controlled super well right now. They're not shooting anything. And the harass is making this an all-in again. And again, I don't like it for Special. He needs stats to be like, okay, we're doing this, and A move into it and somehow lose everything.
Look, these 2 Liberators need to be with Special's army if he's going to win this. He needs everything together.
Come over here and join it.
Ooh, 17 SCVs gone down. Good thing that most of his mineral patches in his main are gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he's down to 27 workers. That is actually, I was about to talk about how it's not that big of a deal, but it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, all Stats has to do is stop this push, and the series is his.
Yep.
And
I think he will.
Oh, the Liberators are not here right now.
Tank's doing a little bit to thwart them. They once again get revealed, though, so Stats is exactly knowing where he's going to fight. Keep in mind, those sentries are a big deal here as well. They can force field that army, and then all of a sudden the Colossus cleaving through those Marines do epic damage.
Okay,
oh wow, Stats
Liberators
gonna do
coming
it.
up. Oh my god, he's jumping on top of absolutely everything. A blink down, picking off a lot of these siege units.
Yeah, he's going to try to fight. I think he's just going to man mode through this, and he might have what it takes. Special's getting kite backwards. The supply hugely in favor of Stats. The Colossus stands strong. The answer for him, nothing. Special's hands come off the keyboard. GG is called, and Stats does it again.
Wow.
He reversed all kills Special. He was down 0-2 and completes the 3-0 to win the series 3-2.
I tell you,
Another
we've had some crazy series.
Yeah.
Serral versus Bjorn, a 3-2 for Bjorn, very, very close. Showtime versus Sue, a 3-2 for Sue, very, very close. And here again, Stats versus Special. Yeah, the Koreans are winning, but they better buckle down and practice for BlizzCon, man. I mean, these foreigners are on their heels.
I agree with you, and that is the optimistic way to look at it, but I think the same in reverse, too. It's like you non-Koreans, they're so close to completing that thing that has to happen, and that's to get the actual win. Like, for these guys, talking about how they almost won isn't enough. For Special, we need to talk about him winning.
Well, it's too bad because he did start up 2-0 and then Stats just kind of turned it on. He was all over the place. Good builds, good execution, getting ahead in the early game. And especially some of these harassments that you were pointing out where it's like, oh, now your attack is all in because I'm doing too much damage in your main base. And Special just unable to bring it all together at the end.
Well, for StarCraft fans, it was a great match. There's a lot more coming, guys. We have so many good players here doing battle. I'm excited. We got Nick and Rotterdam as well on queue here. They're waiting. But I think we're going to – is it interview time? Or no, we're not doing interview, actually.
No, we're skipping interviews. It's a long day. We'll do them later on in the round of 4. For now, a quick commercial break. When we come back, Need versus TY?
It's
Innovation versus Beyond.
Beyond, yeah.